What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, we need to talk about why the most populated state in our country has gone into a state of emergency, and it is California. And it is because of a severe case of bird flu. Now, you say, Corey, come on, man. I thought that stuff could only be passed through animals. That can't be transmitted from human to human. We don't think so. But there are some concerns and arising concerns with these recent variants that are causing these professionals to look and wonder if it is mutating. They say we are one mutation away from having another pandemic on our hands. Okay, so I'm going to start with a case that has been discovered in Canada, which is obviously neighboring the United States, and then I'm going to kind of flip flop and jump back to California and why they have gone into a state of emergency. Okay, so let me start with this. Why a teenager's bird flu infection is ringing alarm bells for scientists. A strain of the avian influenza is showing signs of adaptation to human host, but there is no evidence that it can transmit from person to person. In a children's hospital in Vancouver, Canada, a teenager is in critical condition after being infected with an avian influenza virus that has researchers on high alert. Viral genome sequences released last week suggest that the teenager is infected with an H5N1 avian influenza virus. Damn, that's a mouthful. Bearing mutations that might improve its ability to infect the human airway. If true, it could mean that the virus can rapidly evolve to make the jump from birds to humans. It's a worrying development, but it doesn't mean that a new pandemic is imminent, says immunologist Scott Hensley at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. At present, there is no sign that the virus, which is related but not identical to the H5N1 virus infecting U.S. dairy cattle, has been transmitted from the sick adolescent to other people. There is a reason to be concerned, but no reason to totally freak out. All right, so there is this variant of the bird flu virus that has infected a teenager in Canada, and their concern is that they have looked at this and done a genome sequence test on this virus, and it is showing or bearing mutations that might improve its ability to infect the human airway. Okay, so if you don't know anything about the bird flu, which I knew very little, I mean, I knew it was something that infected birds could carry. I knew that it was something that could run through cattle and dairy farms, poultry farms, that sort of thing. But, and again, I'm not a professional, but my scope of thought has always been, oh, that's all good. That's an animal illness, that's an. But California is experiencing quite a hot spot of this right now. So that leads me, and is a good segue into our next portion of this. So, as I said before, the governor has issued a state of emergency for the state of California, and it is regarding the bird flu. Okay, now I'm going to start right here. I'm not going to read you this whole article, but we're going to start here. The CDC on Wednesday announced that a person in Louisiana had been hospitalized with a severe case of bird flu infection, the first of its kind after other patients experienced mostly mild symptoms. A spokesperson for the Louisiana Department of Health tells Fortune that the patient is experiencing severe respiratory illness related to H5N1 infection and is in critical condition. All right, now I'm going to paraphrase this next paragraph. So basically, what it says is this is a 65-year-old person with other underlying medical conditions. So it's kind of like the whole thing when, the C word came out. Can I say the C word? Can I say the C word? COVID? I'm going to say it. Um, when that first came out, it was one of those things where the media shoving it out there, and we're all afraid that it's this deadly virus. We're hearing that people are dropping dead like flies, and this and that and the third. Then what we come to realize later on that in most cases, as long as you are a relatively healthy individual and don't have a lot of other underlying medical issues, you should be fine. It's kind of like getting a bad cold for some people outside of, some of the secondary symptoms like I can't smell or I can't, that sort of thing. Can't taste, which that sucked when I had it. That was the worst part for me. Well, not the worst part, but I didn't like that part of it at all. So that's what we're hearing here as far as this severe case of the bird flu where the person is in critical condition. All right, and it does say the infection is attributed to a combination of a backyard non-commercial flock and wild birds. Okay, so typically this is something that the only time a person would get this is if they worked around, poultry specifically, cattle farms. They can. The thing is, it used to be something that they thought was only in birds. Now it is starting to spread to mammals, which people are. We're mammals. We're mammals. And as far as they know, it has not gone from person to person yet. Okay? But what is causing them concern is we have this case in Louisiana where this person became really deathly ill with this variant of the H5N1, and then all at the same time there's a teenager who has been infected in Canada that is also having some serious issues, and they are looking at these, and the professionals think that these two variants could be closely related. And the one in Canada specifically, they've done some genome sequence testing on these, and they have a real concern that there are mutations starting to develop in this virus that could improve its ability to infect human airways. So, in other words, prior to now, you can only get this stuff by being exposed to other animals, whether it be birds, cows, whatever. Well, now it is at a point where literally, if this thing mutates one more time, all it would take is one more mutation and it would be able to transfer from human to human. If this thing gets to where it can transfer from human to human, that's no bueno. I mean, that is no good. That is no good because you imagine, how many birds and poultry and stuff like that are out there. And then you also think of the fact that we have to eat, right? And there are certain people and workers that are more highly at risk. By example, those who work at poultry farms obviously are having to, amp up their PPE and all that stuff. So this is a serious concern. So let's talk about how the teenager got infected. That is unclear. The adolescent did not work or live on a poultry farm, and researchers have found no signs of H5N1 infection in household pets, said Bonnie Henry, a public health officer for the province of British Columbia in Victoria, Canada, during a press conference. There is a very real possibility that we may not ever determine the source. How this teenager get this virus? This teenager does not work on or live near any poultry farm. And there's never been any, they've never found the bird flu H5N1 virus in household pets, right? So they literally have no idea how this teenager has contracted the H5N1 virus, the bird flu. No idea. No idea. I mean, experts have been screaming and yelling about this for decades. How concerned they are that I mean, this bird flu has already mutated, and there's already been multiple variants to kind of arise in different areas. Listen, this is one of those things where a lot of people just shrug it off. Oh, no big deal. I mean, you saw what happened with COVID. You know, it came out first year everybody was just scared to death of it, and then by the second year it's like, oh yeah, that's ain't a big deal now, I've already had it twice and blah blah blah. And then the variances started to happen, and then people were starting to get more sick because there's a new variant. These viruses have the ability to adapt, they have the ability to evolve and mutate, right? And the bird flu virus is just what it's called. It's a virus. Viruses can do this. And they have a serious concern. I think, in days to come, we'll probably find out more information. But this viral genome sequence test that they've done on this, we should learn more within the next few days. And I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if a bomb is dropped and we find out that this is starting to be, what do you call the word? Transmissible, contagious. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Jesus, guy. Come on, man. Just shit together. That I wouldn't be surprised if it's already contagious between humans. This teenager has no clue, where they're racking their brains and cannot figure out where this teenager may have gotten the bird flu from. They have no animals, they have no pets, they haven't been around any birds, they don't work or live near a poultry farm at all. Where did they get the bird flu? So this is a serious concern. And then at the same time, in California is in a state of emergency right now because they've had 34 confirmed cases. Shit ain't good, man. Shit is not good. It says here the virus has killed more than 123 million birds in the U.S. since 2022. That's 2 years, most of them in commercial poultry operations. So 123 million birds have been killed by this bird flu, and the majority of those have been in commercial poultry operations. And this has just been in the last 2 years, guys. The last 2 years. That lets you know how rampant this virus is. And they already know that it has the ability to adapt. And when they're looking at this case in Canada, the first thing it says here, the teenagers in critical condition after being infected with a version of the avian influenza virus, H5N1. And it suggests that mutations might be improving its ability to infect human airway. If true, it could mean that the virus can rapidly evolve to make the jump from birds to humans. It's a worrying development, but it does not mean the new pandemic is imminent, says immunologist Scott Hensley. All right, so I'm not trying to scare anyone, although it scares the shit out of me and my wife. Um, Not trying to scare anyone, obviously. If you work around poultry, anything like that, you have chickens, just be careful with this. If you find some random dead bird in your yard, don't get anywhere near that thing without proper PPE. Just take the precautions necessary, because I think that what we are seeing that is that these viruses have such a unique ability to adapt and change and deviate from what they previously were, and it's already done that. I mean, just this episode alone and this strain in Canada, I mean, it's already deviated. They're already saying it's a strain of, it's a variant of, right? Now, you know, with the whole COVID thing, we were hearing, it seemed like every few months or so, oh, there's this new variant out there. I mean, that's the virus, you know, changing and mutating. As our resistances in our bodies begin to combat these, the virus itself starts to learn how to mutate and evolve to get around our defenses, our antibodies that we create. You know, it's freaking warfare out here, man. But yeah, we're gonna keep our eyes on this. This could be a this could be a new pandemic, guys. This could be a new pandemic. But anyway, if you guys have heard any more information on this, let me know. If you heard anything different than what I've talked about here, I'm seeing all these, you know, I Googled it and I'm seeing all these headlines. If bird flu sparks a human pandemic, your past immunity could help. How to stop bird flu outbreak becoming a pandemic. Yeah, this is a legitimate concern. It's all over. The CDC, immunologists, and experts everywhere are talking about this. Look it up. You know, educate yourself on this, guys, because this is a real concern. But that's it. I gotta go. I will see you guys on the next one. Please do subscribe to the channel if you would like the video, and also comment down below. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one.